Live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, this is Runway DFW in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
Hello everybody, we're going to start our day with a Dreamliner. That's an American flight coming in from Honolulu. Flight 115 on this Saturday, June 9th, 2022. And guess what? I didn't hit the right button. So we're off to a flying start here on Runway DFW. Alright, well that was it. We had a nice shot of it, but I wasn't pointing towards it when... oh well. We're working with some new technology here. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We are here live at DFW Airport, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, North Texas. It's 77 degrees, very nice, very nice. Everything is good. We're all set up. And there's the flight from Honolulu. Well, thanks for joining us, as I said. Walt here. I'm trying to get my microphone in the right position. And we welcome you to our little shindig, our Saturday shindig. There is the East Tower of DFW. We're saying hello to Hai Van Trong. And it's just me here, Hai, so I can't always immediately acknowledge things. But thank you for joining us. Ryan Buntrock saying we're getting the early morning Hawaii and South America arrivals. Up at the crack of dawn. And Dwayne joins us. Good morning to Dwayne C. Howdy from Texas. It's just before dawn here in the central time zone of the U.S. We're just about, what day is this? I said it already, the 18th. We're just shy of the longest day of the year here. And so we're looking forward to that. That's why we can start so early, because we've got the days are so long. There's the UPS cargo hub. As you can see, it's kind of loaded up with planes, including that the MD-11 that's right there, that just came in. And there's another MD-11 to the right that is either being loaded or unloaded right now. The door's open. In fact, while there's nothing else going on here, I guess we can kind of treat you to some cargo action here. One of the bonuses of being just a few hundred feet away from the UPS cargo terminal. They're closing the doors there. Maybe that's the one. The other one that I didn't show you, maybe the one that came in, because I wasn't paying attention that much because I was setting up all my gear here. But right now we've got another plane coming in. Hopefully I'll shoot it correctly. This one's coming in from, I believe it's Buenos Aires, if I'm not mistaken. Let me punch it up here. No, this is from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Another Dreamliner? No? Yes. That is the finale of a 9-hour and 21-minute flight aboard that 5-year-old 787-9 from Sao Paulo. And they will shortly be making a left turn and truck on over to the International Arrivals Terminal D for deplaning. Ryan Buntrock says it's a smart time to plane spot. Lord knows it'll only get up to 102 later. And yeah, that's been kind of what we've been dealing with here in North Texas. We will be braving whatever the afternoon brings us on July 1st. It's a Friday when British Airways brings its A380 Super Jumbo here to DFW. The first time we've seen that aircraft since Qantas suspended its A380 route to Dallas, Fort Worth back at the start of the pandemic. So we're looking forward to that. We are trying to arrange something special for y'all. Hello, John Franco, saying well rested this morning. I always wake up early on my days off. Yeah, isn't that the thing? And this is one of my days off from my regular job, so that means I will be able to hang out a little longer as long as the batteries and the equipment holds out. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. And there's that MD-11, which we think may be going out. We'll just have to see about that. Let's see if it's on the departure list here. Not seeing it, so maybe they're just loading it up for later. We should be seeing a Sun Country Airlines flight headed out to Cancun, scheduled for 6 o'clock. And as you can see, with our exclusive on-screen technology, that it's about 6:09. Oh, yeah, it says estimated departure. Well, it says 6 o'clock, so I haven't seen it, but we'll look for it. As I said, it's 77 degrees. It's very, very nice right now. We've got a little breeze coming in from the south, and you are pointed towards the south right now. We are at the north end of DFW Airport on the west side of the airport. We're overlooking runways 18 left and 18 right. If we go over to this camera, you're looking at a plane coming over the bridge from the east side. That looks to be a United jet. So that's coming over here for a takeoff to Denver. That'll be United Flight 557. It's an A320. One of the older planes in the fleet. It's 24 years old. So it's a 20th century aircraft. Get a little wider shot for you there. You can see the United plane over there on the right side. It's going to be making a right turn from the pilot's perspective and head up to the north end of runway 18 left, which is the departure runway on this side of the airport. So 18 left, 18 right, they run parallel to one another. There are 3 parallel north-south runways on the other side of the airport. 17 left, 17 center, and 17 right. And occasionally, if it gets a little slow over here, or if they've got the runway closed down for inspections, we'll aim our camera over on the other side of the airport so we can see the planes landing or taking off, but we can't see them actually on the runway over there because of the obstructions between here and there. So we don't get the full picture of this vast airport, the second busiest in the world, but we get a pretty good look at stuff. And we get a lot of cargo action over here. And yes, if you're a new viewer to Runway DFW, or if you're not totally familiar with Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, this is the home of American Airlines. So you're going to be seeing a lot of American Airlines and American Eagle livery as we go through the morning, or whatever time it is where you are. Just about lunchtime in the UK. Late at night down in New Zealand and Australia. And as I say, it looks like this one's going to turn and burn. I think I heard Kevin say that on Airline Videos Live yesterday. Got to give credit where credit's due. So at 6:13, this jet is off to Denver. Did I say Denver? I think so. But yes, you can see all the American tails there. There's a Japan Airlines jet which landed before we got on the air this morning. I hate when that happens, but it was a little too dark for our camera to really do it justice. And now, just before sunrise, we are coming to you live from DFW Founders Plaza, which is a superior plane spotting site. It's really the only public plane spotting site. I gotta adjust my microphone here. Hold on. I don't know if that's any better or not, but we'll see. I heard my scanner beep. I'm going to have to replace the battery, but I had the foresight to put some batteries in my pocket, so we'll be able to do that. Let us take a look momentarily at this flight that's coming in from Los Angeles. It's American Flight 664, a 737-800. This one is landing over on the east side of the airport. Normally the LA flights come in over on this side, but maybe it's going to land over there because it's closer to its terminal, of which there are 5 terminals here at DFW. And again, we won't be able to see it land. It's going to duck behind some buildings momentarily. And there it goes. And next we're going to be on the lookout for American Flight 6 is coming in from Maui in Hawaii. Hey, we've got Luke Moulds on the line here, down from New Zealand, saying we won our first game in Division 1, top division of college rugby here in New Zealand, 11 points to 5. Congratulations, Luke. That is super. Glad to have you on our team late this Saturday night in New Zealand. Thanks for being with us. So again, this is going to be American Flight 6 from Maui. This will be a 787-900. Let me punch that up for you, and there it comes in on the left side of your screen, past the Founders Plaza Monument. And so after a 6-hour and 37-minute flight across the Pacific, that aircraft has now landed safely here at DFW. See if we've got anything interesting coming up here. Looking at the arrival board, and I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, it seems a little slow as far as arrivals go. It is a Saturday morning. I'm seeing an Eva Air cargo plane headed to Anchorage. This will be a 777. It's supposed to go out about 7 o'clock. And so we've got about 40 minutes to wait for that, but it'll be good to see that, the Eva Air livery here. And I'm going to have to take care of my scanner with its annoying beep momentarily. So let me favor you with a shot of the rising sun here as we say hello to Hans van Rijsee. And I apologize if I mispronounced that. Saying good afternoon from Almere in the Netherlands, where the temperature is expected to exceed 35 degrees, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And I bet I'm going to wager, I don't know a lot about weather in the Netherlands, but I'm going to wager that's pretty toasty for the Netherlands. You'll get no sympathy from us here in North Texas, because that's kind of par for the course as far as we're concerned. But yeah, that's a warm day. Especially, there are a lot of places which, we kind of take air conditioning for granted here in Texas because we need it. But there are certainly a lot of places in the world where it's just not, or it hasn't been needed on a regular basis. And so it might get warm 1 or 2 days during the summer, but they kind of put up with it. So I hope this is not a trend for you guys in the Netherlands. I wish you nice, cool, pleasant summer weather. And of course, we haven't really even reached summer yet, technically. We're still a few days away from the official start of summer. We are right now observing the sunrise. Let's look at that, as we don't have any planes to look at right now. Oli Euskirchen, 32 degrees centigrade already, or Celsius already in Western Germany. I'm old. I got used to saying centigrade when I was little. And Orion saying Texas is just preheating right now. And that is going to be the origin of our heat right there. Our little furnace in the sky. John Frankel says, I spent 8 months in Germany and Poland in 2020 and 2021. I can verify that Europe doesn't have air conditioning. Well, I'm sure some of it does, but yeah, it's not as prevalent. So you came to see airplanes, and instead you're watching the sunrise here in the central time zone of the U.S. I don't see, I'm looking at the radar here, see if I see anything that's happening, but it's pretty dead right now. So hang out with us, enjoy the sunrise. Do we have any sunrise music? Let me see here. Seemed to fit, I guess. That doesn't. I didn't know my music was going to continue to play. That song we reserve for the arrival or departure of a 747. That's our Queen theme. So if you're just joining us, welcome. You are watching Runway DFW live from DFW Airport. And no, that is not an airplane. That is our friend the sun, ready to deliver a solar blast to us here in Texas. But yes, we are still at an airport, and there's the proof. That is the east tower of DFW. There's 3 towers. 2 of them are operational, the east and west, and the center tower, I am told, is I guess more or less ceremonial now. We are at the home of American Airlines and American Eagle. They carry between those two probably upwards of 85% of the passengers in and out of here. And that's a lot. So if you hang out with us, you're going to be seeing a lot of American Airlines planes just like that. And I see coming north towards us now on the west side runways, it looks like the runway inspection team is out there, as they often are here in the early morning hours after the sun is up, to look for any anomalies that might be out there on the airport, any broken lights or any debris, anything that could have an impact on aircraft coming and going. Excuse me. there they are. They're looking around, making sure everything is tidy. Ryan was commenting on our image earlier, saying a gorgeous shot. I live in Las Colinas. Las Colinas is another is a suburb of Dallas, not too far from here. Technically, I guess it's in the city of Irving. And he says, getting a better view here than I would outside my apartment. And what you're looking at there is a statue of some children who are frolicking in the manner of aircraft. Kind of a whimsical thing. If you hang around till the end, you'll see on our copyright page an image of my grandson, my 5-year-old grandson, in front of there doing a similar pose and having some fun. And you're saying, Walt, this is the second busiest airport in the world. Where are all the airplanes? Well, I can tell you, I guess it may, I don't know, maybe it's between the fact that it's a Saturday morning, or I'm not sure. We do have some action coming in, and it will be here in just a minute or two. It's going to be American Eagle Flight 3592. It will be an Embraer 145 coming in from Lawton, Oklahoma. And how far away is that, you say? Well, it's been in the air for less than a half hour, about 27 minutes. So it's not a very long flight. And we'll be seeing it soon, I promise. And it'll be some airplane action. Ryan is saying SCX 513 will be taking off soon for Cancun, which I believe that's going to be Sun Country. Yes. Yeah, it was on the schedule for 6 a.m. I haven't seen it yet. It's coming from. It'll be coming from either Terminal D or E, which is pretty far out. And I saw a couple of Sun Country planes down there on the far end, but we'll bring it to you live when it gets here. And as we point towards the northern sky, you may be able to see that little dot there to the left of the Founders Plaza Monument. That is our flight from, is that the flight from Lawton? Seems farther away than it should be. It may be I think that's coming in on 18 left, which is normally the departure runway over here. Of course, the inspection team was just out there. There's a couple Sun Country planes there. But yeah, I came in on 18 left. So we've got a couple of Sun Country planes there. I guess they're not at the gate. One is in the, what I'm told is the newer livery, the one on the left. The one on the right I don't always mistake it for, but at a glance you could say, wait, isn't that a Southwest Airlines plane? John Franco informing us that Lawton is Fort Sill, a military base in Oklahoma. a route that has a lot of active reserve and retired military, so that accounts for that. If you are new to our little shindig here, I hope you will like and subscribe to our channel, Runway DFW. A Runway DFW subscription is at no cost. You just hit the subscribe button and you're subscribed, and it'll float our content to the top of your list, or at least it'll include it there so you can find us more easily. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll know when we're live. We were last live on Thursday. And our schedule is not regular. It's irregular based upon my schedule, because I have a job and I've got to work. And also on the weather. Primarily, we don't... It has to do with the wind, really. The wind is coming from the south today, which means it's good for us because the planes are landing from the north right in front of us. They're taking off right in front of us. And... so we're hoping that we see that most often. That's our best shot at bringing you good-looking pictures. Haven't had any new subscribers this morning yet, according to my notes here, so I hope you'll consider that if you haven't already. You'll find there's a lot of friendly folks in our chat room. Looks like we've got a couple planes headed our way now. We've got American Airlines flight 2563. It's a 737-800 coming in from the state capital of Texas in Austin. Ooh, and it looks like it's, I thought it was coming over here, but it looks like it's angling over to the east side of the big airport. So we may have to look at that one from afar. And behind that is American Eagle Flight 3177 coming in from Columbia. And Columbia, Missouri. But we do have a couple other flights kind of circling in here on this side. Looks like the first will be American Flight 3760 from, where is that from? Killeen. That's American Eagle Flight, and John Franco's saying it's coming in from Killeen. And it's where Fort Hood is based in Texas. It's a joint civil and military airfield. See, you learn so much here on Runway DFW from our learned correspondents. Here comes that flight from Austin. It's going over to the east side. I think we'll see it transit the sun, won't we? Let's try this. Yeah, it just went under the sun. And that's all we can see of that one. So we'll be looking for these two flights. We got an American Eagle flight coming in from Killeen, and we've got an American Airlines flight coming in from Honolulu. That'll be a 777. Everybody likes the 777, right? John is going to be hitting the skies next week, going to Tennessee, not flying out of DFW. I'll be taking Southwest out of Austin, spending July 4th with the family. We'll have a great trip, John. That sounds like fun. Tennessee on the 4th. We've got Patriot 007 watching from Manchester in the UK. Good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in here on your lunch hour. We've got a lot of air conditioning talk going on in the chat room. We've got another flight coming in on the east side of DFW. I've got little bugs attacking my neck now. May have to go back to the car and grab my insecticide. I am going to have to grab the insecticide. I got little bugs attacking my neck here, so tell you what, talk amongst yourselves and dance. Okay, I'm all lathered up now with deep woods off. Sorry for the interruption. Wow, I still feel them on the back of my neck. I think they're attracted to this. Yikes. You bugs are not supposed to be attracted to this. You're supposed to be repelled by it. Yikes. Hang on, everybody. I gotta go something to wipe these bugs off. Got the big 777 coming in from Honolulu. See it there in a moment. There it is. I have to say, my neck is under attack from these little guys, these little bugs. That noise you may hear is me wiping them from my neck. Do I need super power? I've got deep woods off. That should be enough, right? It's an Ameriflight cargo. Thank goodness I'm getting eaten alive here. You'd think I was in the jungle or something. This is a beach. 1900C. Headed to Amarillo, Texas, which is to the west of us. We do not know when this plane dates back to, at least not according to my information. It's N39UB if you want to look it up. We're going to have another pause here, at least in my narration. And while we don't have any planes coming or going, well, we've got a little plane coming or going, but I've got to go get my hat, which covers my neck and ears. So bear with us. I'll be right back on Runway DFW, so don't go anywhere. And we'll set the music going. So I guess we ran out of music. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here I am back. For those of you who are just joining us, maybe I'll turn this into a bit. And now, as the propeller turns, your host, Walt Zwerko, is being eaten alive by little bugs. Little nasty bugs which are attacking his neck and his legs and his arms, while trying his best to bring you a coherent broadcast from Runway DFW, from DFW Airport. Stay tuned for the next episode of As the Propeller Turns, as we see if Walt is covered with bites by the end of this broadcast. Okay. Well, we're gonna plow through it here, folks. We've got American Flight 2272 coming in from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Next for you on Runway DFW. This is an Ameriflight cargo plane. Not that. This. There it is. And this one gets our oldie but goodie award for the morning so far. This is Beech 1900C, dating back to 1985. So it's as old as my daughter. And the person who's flying it could possibly be younger than the plane itself. But it's still going. What did we say it's going to Lubbock? So it's going to make a turn here. And rev up. Our pilot friend, I'm a Pangolin, saying the Beech 1900 entered service in 1984. That's one of the early ones. So thank you for that insight. Breezy is joining our little get-together here. Morning all, just woke up. Glad to have you with us, Breezy. If you just joined us, your host has been attacked by little tiny bugs this morning. I think things are under control. Uncle Car Guy's with us. Any Indianapolis flights with American Airlines, Walt? I haven't seen any. Let me look at the boards here. Always good to check the boards. We were expecting an EVA Air flight to depart here at 7, so we should be seeing that pop out shortly. That's going to be a 777. That'll be nice. I'm seeing an Indianapolis flight supposed to be going out at 9:37. It was originally scheduled for 8:30. It's an American Airlines flight 304. That is a departure. And there was supposed to have been an Indianapolis flight going out, coming in at 6:53, but shows here that it's canceled. So if you were expecting someone from Indianapolis on American Airlines this morning, they may be running a little late. I'm hearing engine noise over there from our pals over at UPS. I don't know. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. Let's zoom into the rear engine on this MD-11, see if we see any vapors coming out of it. I don't see any. That would be a telltale sign. I definitely hear an engine whining over there. There's there's 3 other UPS aircraft behind that. And when I was looking at the departures earlier, I didn't pay attention to see if there are any UPS flights on the manifest. No, not seeing any. I think I remember being here on a Saturday morning before once, and things are pretty quiet over at UPS on a Saturday morning. So Uncle Car Guy saying, as I'm in Indianapolis, I would like to see an arrival. Well, we're not going to see the arrival. There's supposed to be one going out. We'll keep on the lookout for that. I lived in Indianapolis for about 10 years, but that was many, many, many years ago, back in the 70s and mostly in the 70s. I'm sure things have changed a lot in the Circle City. And Ima Pangolin saying the engine sound could be an APU running. That's an auxiliary power unit, if I know the jargon. And that means an onboard generator to keep things going when the plane is not plugged into shore power. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about. But thank you, Ima. We say good morning to Ed Chilcote in Wilmington, North Carolina. Good morning to you, Ed. Thanks for hanging out with us here at Runway DFW. A little quiet this morning, a little bit quiet. I'm seeing our next incoming flight from Stillwater, Oklahoma. 40-minute flight. It's going to be an Embraer 145. So we'll take a look at that. Right behind it's going to be an American Eagle Flight 3512 from Waco in Texas. And that'll also be an Embraer 145. It's a pretty much cloudless day here at the big airport. We saw the sun a little earlier, so I'll give you a look at the moon. From looking at us from overhead. Now we're back to aircraft activities. And this is the flight from Stillwater, Oklahoma. And that generator noise has now ceased. So maybe they're just doing some testing of the aircraft. And here comes that EVA Air Cargo 777, which we talked about earlier. And I believe that's Anchorage bound, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm starting to see some disturbance in the force as far as the smoothness of our picture goes. Let me know if you're seeing the same thing. We had such a good broadcast on Thursday, which is to say everything went very smoothly as far as the internet went, and then I'm afraid we may be running up against our old enemy, internet stuttering. And I am getting confirmation now that the frames per second seems low and the video stream is choppy. So I'm going to plow through and play through, I guess as they say in golf, and we'll see if it clears up. If it doesn't, we may have to reset things. When we got here, I mean, I do check these things before we go, and I looked at the speed of our connection. It was quite acceptable for the stream we were putting out. But there are a lot of variables involved in broadcasting over the internet, especially when you're wireless, which we are. We're totally wireless, nothing to plug in here. And is this plane going over to the east side? Looks like it is. It's going to Anchorage, and typically this a flight going to that destination would take off over on the west side here, but apparently That is not what's going to happen this morning. So goodbye, Eva Air Cargo. Boo-hoo. And I'm asking if we are 720p still, which to those of you who are like unfamiliar with all these terms, that means a 720 line progressive signal. And yes, that's what we're trying to send out. We tried 1080p a week or two ago, and it worked for a little while, and then it started acting kind of like what you're seeing right now. And John McCarger just subscribed to our channel. Thank you, John. I didn't even mention it. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers, and we thank you for every one of those. Will this be the day? I don't know. It depends on whether we can continue to broadcast in a watchable quality. So hang in there with us if you can. We welcome your comments as we try to watch American Eagle Flight 3527 coming in from Bentonville, Arkansas, the home of Walmart. That's an Embraer 175. But yeah, I'm seeing on my return feed, it's looking like a bunch of flip cards. Not what we want. Well, what do we have here? Is that a helicopter? It is. I have only rarely seen a helicopter here. Oh, it's carrying something. Do you see it down there? It's carrying what probably is like an air conditioning unit. And sometimes these are used, helicopters are used instead of cranes to lower heavy equipment on top of a building. Sorry for that swift pan over there. I don't know how that looked on your screen. This is an American Airlines flight coming in from Anchorage, Alaska. Normally we only see cargo. In the winter months we only see cargo planes coming and going from Anchorage, but there's that helicopter. We're at full zoom there, so it's a little blurry. I guess it has made its deposit. Well, that was unexpected. Kurt Buddy 40, a new subscriber to Runway DFW. Thank you, Kurt Buddy. We appreciate that. So we've had 2 new subscribers in the last few minutes. As we keep our eye on that helicopter action down there. We've got more regional action here on the north side. This American Eagle flight coming in from Wichita Falls in Texas, just up the road from here. My recollection is that's about a 25-minute flight. I was right, 25 minutes. This is an ERJ-145LR dating back 18 years. That helicopter seems to have disappeared. And Uncle Car Guy was explaining about the Indianapolis flights. He's saying the trainers that want to work for American Airlines will go to DFW for free, and they will work for American Airlines at Indianapolis, but they work for Envoy Air. So, I guess. IMO's saying the fact that the audio is smooth is odd. It could be a YouTube issue as they prioritize audio over video. Well, that's true, and audio is also a lot easier to send out than video as far as what's going on. It consumes a lot less bandwidth. If we could do an audio broadcast, I don't think we'd have any problems with our streaming. But you probably wouldn't want to hear me yak to do a paint the word picture of planes arriving. And I don't know, my return stream is still a bit spotty. Patrick McDermott is chiming in with information about that helicopter. It's N4XY, a 1957 Sikorsky S-58T, a heavy lifter. And yeah, we had a 1985 propeller plane earlier, but that takes the cake. 1957 as far as our wow, that's old. I don't know if maybe they don't make anything that is a modern equivalent of that anymore. Coming in at this moment from Omaha, Nebraska, we've got American Airlines Flight 2540. A little bouncy. 737-800. And that is a 7-year-old aircraft. Got some more hot regional action for you now. It's American Eagle Flight 4046. Going to be joining us from Amarillo, Texas. After about 50 minutes in the air, it's going to be an Embraer 175LR. A 6-year-old aircraft operated by Envoy Air, the American Airlines subsidiary. John McCarger is saying those Bell 47s are from the 50s and 60s, and the Sikorskys are equally old. Toughest lift for a helo is straight up. Can only imagine. So here comes the flight from Amarillo on Runway DFW. You can learn so much being a viewer of Runway DFW, don't you think? I learn everything. I learn something new every time I'm on the air. That's for sure. JH, good morning from the UK. Good morning to you. And good morning, Ryan Paulding. Glad to have you with us. We are having some connectivity issues here at this moment. So if you see a stuttering of your image, I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can. Everything at our end is good, but Mahesh Sharma just subscribed. Welcome to you, Mahesh. We're so happy to have you with us, and you know, we are fast approaching our 4,000th subscriber. Would you like to be our 4,000th subscriber? About 3,953 according to our page here. 3,954. So we're less than 50 away from the magic goal. I don't know if it's a goal, but it's a milestone for us for sure of 4,000. So we hope that our signal can hold out for that. Uncle Car Guy saying, where is Japan Airlines Dreamliner? It came in before dawn, before we went on the air. And we should be seeing it headed back. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. Hello, Patrick from Perry, Iowa. Glad to have you with us right here on Runway DFW. As we look at this A319, the distinctive looking A319. Coming in from McAllen, Texas after an hour and 10 minutes in the Texas skies. Jerry McCallum joins us from South Central France. That sounds like a nice place to be. Have a baguette on me, or on my behalf. And see, what did we say? We got Raz Astor Black, one love from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Man, no problem. Good to have you with us, Raz. Luis Fernandez just subscribed to our channel. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for joining our little club. And I say club, there's no admission. Good evening from Pakistan, says Adil Mansour. Good evening to you. We are on the lookout now for this American Eagle flight coming in from Brownsville, flight 3106, a CRJ 700 on Runway DFW. We're still getting some low frame rates, at least on my end. I'm getting a return feed from YouTube, so bear with us. Sometimes it gets better, and sometimes it doesn't. MR Rice checking in. Korean Airlines Flight 31 is about 29 minutes from DFW. We will be looking out for that. John McCarger saying, how can I support the channel? You know, it's almost as like I paid you to say that, right? I didn't. But I will let you know right now. Yes, you can fly first class with Runway DFW by pointing your browser at streamlabs.com/runwaydfw. That is the place where you can buy us a cup of coffee, leave us a tip, help us out with streaming expenses on a one-off or on a ongoing basis. There's options on that page now where you can say if you want to send us $1 a month, you can arrange for that at streamlabs.com/runwaydfw. Every buck helps. Our streaming expenses are not inconsequential, and so we thank you for your support of Runway DFW. And so we'll leave that little reminder up there for you. Thank you again for your consideration. That American Airlines flight 2342 coming in from San Antonio, Texas, a 737-800. How old is it, you ask? 9 years, according to our pals at Flight Radar 24. There goes an American jet headed over the bridge from the west side to the east side of the airport. That particular aircraft is Flight 429 on its way to Washington, D.C. National Airport. Or I guess it's Reagan Airport, do they call it? That's where it's going. Our next arrival is American Eagle Flight 5781, making its way from Corpus Christi in on the Texas Gulf Coast. About an hour, just a little over an hour ago, was when it took off, a CRJ 900ER. What have we here? It's American Eagle Flight from Harlingen, Texas, down in the southern part of the state. CRJ 700, American Eagle Flight 3211. Let's check on the progress of this MD-11 UPS. It's got its cargo door open. I don't see any activity there, though. Maybe they're just kind of airing it out. Looks like Emre's leaving us. Have a great morning, Walt, he says, and have a great morning back to you, Emre. Hope you have a great Saturday. We've got coming in another regional flight from a Texas destination. This is coming in from Laredo. And if you're just joining us, if your stream looks a little choppy, it's not your computer or your connection. Most likely, it's our connection. And we've got a solid signal, but it's apparently not a very smooth one, so I don't know what to tell you about that other than we're going to plow through it here. What you're looking at there is a Cessna 208B Super Cargo Master. Flying for Martin Air. How old do you think this one is? What do you think? Well, it's a turn of the century aircraft, dates back to 2000. Don't know where it's going. There's a Sun Country plane going over the bridge. That might be the Cancun departure, which seems to have been delayed a bit.
No problem. Thank you, Mike. 43.
They don't have a destination listed on flight radar for this one. As it waits there, we're going to be seeing American Flight 2286, an A319 coming in from south of the border in Monterrey, Mexico. You see the tail of that Sun Country plane there in the background. And here comes the flight from Monterrey. There goes the Super Cargo Master, and that left the runway, it looks like, in about 25 or 30 feet. It seems to be making an almost immediate bank. which most planes don't do. They usually go straight south and then bank, but I guess that one got an exception. This little guy's not even showing up on the radar as we see American Eagle Flight 5820 coming in from Corpus Christi. Oh, I'm sorry, from El Paso in far west Texas. So anyone want to look up N162SA for us? Again, we don't have that on the radar. It's a little cargo plane, probably going somewhere in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, somewhere in that vicinity. I would guess its final destination. Good morning to you, Sebastian Echeverria, watching from Port St. Lucie in Florida. Good morning to you. Thanks for coming on board with us. Ryan Paulding is saying, I've noticed on the weekend morning shows of Runway DFW, there's a lot of inbound Texas flight. Well, there's almost always a lot of inbound Texas flight. Texas is a gigantic state, as I'm sure you know. It is has a lot of big and small airports. You know, we're going to check back in on our helicopter pal, our 1957 Sikorsky, which is still kind of hanging around down there at the south end of the airport. Again, I'm sorry we can't get a better view of this for you, but that is at maximum zoom. We saw it dropping what appeared to be some equipment on top of a building, probably some air conditioning or some other equipment like that. But that's an aircraft that can do some heavy lifting. And as one of our subscribers said, and I'm sorry I can't remember who filled us in on that, but he identified this aircraft as being from 1957. Oh, it's lifting something up now. So maybe that's the old unit which was being replaced. I don't imagine it's going to go very far before it drops it in a parking lot for a truck to pick up. And Freed's chiming in saying, with DFW being American's world headquarters, all those Texas flights feed passengers onto other flights across the country and around the world. Of course, also with Americans' one world partners. And I should look up the statistics as far as what percentage of passengers here at DFW are actually, this is not their final destination. I suspect that for a great percentage, people who come and go from here are making a connection somewhere. And it makes sense because we're kind of right here in the center of the country. And American has a lot of options for its passengers and for passengers of other airlines. Hello to you, Bill Moss. He is in London, England. Is there any other London? I know there's a new London, Connecticut here in the States, but cheers to you, Bill. Thanks for coming on and watching Runway DFW with us. Jack the Cat is saying good morning to my former Founders Plaza home from Mexico Beach, Florida. What part of Florida is that? East or West Coast? Or is it in the Keys somewhere? I'm going to suspect it's near water somewhere. We're watching this helicopter hovering. I'm assuming that it's dropped a line to collect another bit of kit from the rooftop of wherever it's hovering over. I remember seeing a helicopter like that. Who knows, maybe it's even the same one. Although I think the one I saw had a cutout in the bottom of it. But it was the one of those heavy lift helicopters, and it was the one I saw was working in downtown Dallas on top of a lifting something to and from the top of a skyscraper. And that was pretty wild to see. So we're just kind of hanging out, watching this big old Sikorsky doing its thing. It's going up. Is it lifting something? Yep. It's not wasting any time. I guess that's a pretty efficient way to do things. If the site is relatively inaccessible by crane. I don't know, this is fascinating to me, watching this activity. I only wish we were way down there and could give you a better look at it. Oh, Ryan, we're not being invaded by helicopters. For some reason, we're losing our focus there. We say hello to Ms. Wolves 13. Good morning to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. MF saying, I've seen this same whirlybird here in the DFW area lifting HVAC systems, heating, air conditioning units. And yeah, I imagine that would be a pretty steady work for a bird like that. And while we watch that, we're not missing anything apparently, because the airport is kind of quiet right now. I'm looking in the skies to the north. We do have an American Airlines flight coming in from Cleveland, Ohio. Where Mrs. Runway DFW grew up, in the suburb of Lakewood. And that'll be a 737-800. It's American Flight 525. We'll flip over to that in a second. They really must have a pretty efficient team there, ready to grab those cables and attach them as this lifts up now. I guess lifting something else up from the rooftop. There it is. Ferrying it a short distance. So you never know what you're going to see when you come out here to DFW Airport. But what we are going to see now is that American Airlines flight from Cleveland. As it passes by our viewing area here at DFW Founders Plaza. We've got a 13-year-old 737-800. I don't know what kind of reputation Cleveland has, if any, internationally, but it's kind of developed a comedy punchline reputation here in the States. Cleveland has, and I can tell you that Cleveland is a really nice place. I had the opportunity to be there a lot with my wife over the years, and just a lot of beautiful areas in the Cleveland area. Be a nice place to live. I imagine the cost of living is pretty reasonable relative to some other areas. And we get a second on that from Fareed, who says, "Walter, your wife grew up here. How cool. Cleveland is a great place and my hometown." That is super. See, we're pro Cleveland. Although I do have to laugh, if you've ever seen the there's a very funny video, or I guess two of them, because there was a sequel. Of somebody who did a kind of a fake tourism video for Cleveland, and you know, kind of capitalizing on its punchline quality. I wish I could remember the name of it or who did it, but I imagine if you're on YouTube and you look up Cleveland, that'll be one of the first things you'll see. But it's funny, and having been there, I can laugh at it, but know that yeah, Cleveland is a pretty cool place. Oh, there's Mrs. Runway DFW chiming in. And I can confirm we've got Hatila75 just subscribed to our channel. Thank you. Where'd our helicopter pal go? There he is. Like he's going in for another collection there. This is a big project. Somebody's getting some new air conditioning. So if you're just joining us, we've kind of deviated from our normal. Well, there's nothing really. There's no airplanes coming and going, and we'll show you those when they do. But we're watching this 1957 vintage Sikorsky heavy lift helicopter lifting up some what appears to be bulky air conditioning units from one location to another. I'm assuming from the top of a building to a parking lot or wherever they're originating, and I guess getting the old ones out of there at the same time. And there goes the lift. Or maybe it's made a deposit there, I guess so. I don't see it lifting anything.
Partial Sears Shell 676.
I've worked almost all my life for TV stations that had helicopters. I never was in, well, the only helicopters I was in was working for a TV station that didn't own its, or didn't have access to its own helicopter. They kind of rented it, and as I recall, both times were kind of like that bubble front, you know, where you look down and, you know, everything is kind of below your feet, and the windows were open, and it flew real low. Well, there goes another delivery. Try that, Amazon. So we're going to shift our focus here for a few minutes, because we got a big one coming in, a heavy. Korean Air Flight 31 from Seoul. I don't see it quite yet. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to point our camera over there, and hopefully our signal will be stable enough for you to see it coming in. It's going to be a 3-year-old 787-9 Dreamliner after a 12-hour and 7 minutes, 6,838 mile jaunt from the Korean Peninsula. And there you may be able to see it there. Got a few obstructions in the way. And Daniel is checking in to say you really need a better network coverage. While pictures are sometimes like a stop motion movie. And yes, we are aware, we are fully aware of that. What happens is the signal, we've got a strong signal. I'm looking at our device, which is saying we allegedly have excellent connection, but it's being either interfered with somehow, or it's being interrupted in some way. And I've tried now three different ways to connect to the network, and they all seem to have the same issue occasionally. Now, when we started this morning, things were smooth, and when we were here on Thursday, we did 3 hours without it stuttered once or twice, but for the most part it was good. So unfortunately, I can't there's no place I can plug in an Ethernet cable and get a gigabyte connection from where we are, unfortunately. So I don't mean to be complaining, but that's our situation here. Roger Smith just subscribed to our channel. Thank you, Roger. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers. Southwest Air 521 wants to know, good morning, I'm going to American Airlines flight 1733 from Dallas to Milwaukee at 2 p.m. Are you going to be able to get the Airbus A320? I don't think Southwest Air 521 that will be here that long, especially if our signal is subpar. So I regret to say we probably won't be here that long today. Fareed's talking about Cleveland again, and he says when Continental had its hub in Cleveland before United came to play, we had non-stop flights to London, Gatwick, and Paris, but Cleveland couldn't sustain them, and probably they were gone within 1 to 2 years. Yeah, that happens at the smaller airports sometimes. It looks like Japan Airlines Flight 6713 is about to push back, or is pushing back from International Terminal D, so we'll be seeing that going out to Tokyo. Hopefully, if they send it up here. We haven't seen a lot of takeoffs here on the west side this morning, except for those little cargo planes. We do have a big 777 coming in. This will be from Buenos Aires after a 10 hour and 23-minute flight. This will be a 21-year-old 777, and we're getting ready to see it arrive. Hasn't gotten here yet, as you can tell, but when you do, it will be coming in from the left side of your screen. See if we can catch it a little early. And there's the big bird. Southwest Air 521 wants to know, is there any Airbus A380 today? Not at DFW. Not today. Not until July 1st, when British Airways inaugurates its A380 service from London to here. That'll be July 1st, a Friday. And we'll be here to bring you all the action. And hopefully we'll have a good connection on that day. I know there's going to be a lot of people out here. So, A380, not today, my friends. We say good morning to Trooper Jared Ventura. Would you like to see my driver's license? And someone, Daniel's suggesting that, at least he's suggesting to Mrs. Runway DFW that we might try reconnecting our connection device. And that might be worth doing. What it's going to involve, I might say, why not, right? We're kind of in a lull right now. Our stream won't be interrupted. Well, I mean, it'll be interrupted as far as what you're seeing. But we'll just disconnect ourselves from the interwebs here for a few minutes, and then we'll come back to you, okay? So let me see if I have a standby here. There we go. So stand by. We're going to disconnect and reconnect and see if that helps. And thank you for your patience. Don't go anywhere. Talk amongst yourselves, and we'll be right back. Unplugging now.
live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas. This is Runway DFW in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
Okay, we're back. Now, I don't know if the signal is going to be any better, but thank you for bearing with us as we had our little reboot of our hotspot reboot, and we're back. Thanks for being with us here on this Saturday, June the 18th. We are coming to you live and in color from DFW International Airport in Texas. And DFW stands for Dallas-Fort Worth. Daniel likes that intro. Thank you, Daniel. Alexandra Monet. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. And so we're here. Okay, so you didn't miss anything, really. Nothing was coming and going whilst we were in our pause there. But we do now see the Japan Airlines Dreamliner. It is headed to the takeoff position, I hope here on the north side. There it is. I don't know. I don't have any way of knowing if this reboot cured our streaming woes, but it's worth a shot. This flight is on its way to Narita Airport in Tokyo. Now it's making the U-turn so it can head south before it makes its big trek to the west. Mrs. Runway DFW is confirming that the signal looks a little better after the reboot, so I don't know, maybe we'll just have to have an hourly please stand by and just reboot our signal. I don't know. We'll see. This happens to the best. I was watching the airline videos live. It's always a stellar presentation. The other day they were at the top of the H Hotel with that fantastic viewpoint, and even there it was stuttering every now and again. Not like what we were seeing, but you can't always rely on the internet. the Far East.
19 visual, 13 left. 13 descending, 13.
Michael Marrero saying happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Michael, wherever you may be. Alexander is saying, and Nat Jargon, oh, we have a couple new subscribers here. Nat Jargon and Tracy, thank you for your subscriptions to our channel. We're marching towards 4,000 subscribers with your help. Alexander was saying, man, I miss the DFW area. There's an amazing Korean buffet in Arlington where you can cook at your table. Y'all have to try it if you're hankering for something a little different. I was in, my son works in Korea, in Seoul, lives and works there, and he took me to a place like that in Seoul, and so, but I'm not familiar with the one you're talking about. I'll have to check it out. But it is pretty cool. They just give you the meat, and they give you a little, there's a little cooking area, and you just cook your own stuff. From Querétaro in sunny Mexico, it's American Flight 1924, an A319, and now arriving on runway 18 right. Had my cough button on. MF wants to know, is Mrs. Runway DFW your switcher fader, or are you handling that too? Mrs. Runway DFW is currently, well, I'm not sure if she's at work in Fort Worth, which is about, I don't know, 30 miles from here, or if she's at home, which is 50 miles from here, but she's not here. But she does chime in and help us out with moderation, so thank you, Mrs. Runway DFW, wherever you may be. She may be driving right now, for all I know. And not watching and driving at the same time, of course. And now we have some more information about that Korean buffet in Arlington, which is a kind of midway between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's called Jin's Korean Buffet. Excellent, back in 2018. Hope it makes you feel a little closer to your son. We'll give it a try. Arlington's a pretty fur piece from, well, from here, it's kind of a straight shot south, depending on where in Arlington it is, and probably be within a half hour of here. But I live to the north, about 50 miles away, so not the most convenient place to pop in for dinner. But thank you for that suggestion. And Mrs. Runway DFW has confirmed that she is coming to us from her workplace, which is in Fort Worth, Texas, which is, as I said, probably about 35 miles from where we are right here. So let me check in on our new subscribers. Nat Jagorn Lap Chirone. I'm sure I messed that up, but he or she is a new subscriber. Thank you. Tracy Barnett has subscribed. Miguel Jorge GG has subscribed. Roger Smith has subscribed. Hot Leah 75 has subscribed. And I think those are all the ones we haven't mentioned yet. So thank you, all of you, for chiming in and being a member, not a member, but a subscriber to Runway DFW. Much appreciated. Tony Duran has just subscribed to us. Welcome to you, Tony. Thank you. Now I'm going to tell you how you can help support us if you are so inclined. Go to streamlabs.com/runwaydfw. That's where we have a page set up. So you can make a credit card or a PayPal contribution to our effort, to our streaming expenses, to our coffee fund, whatever you think. And you can make a one-time or a continuing contribution on that page, and thank you in advance. Streamlabs.com/runwaydfw. As we watch another flight from Mexico coming in, this is from Guadalajara, a Boeing 737-800, American flight 1034. And if you're just subscribing, you may be new to Runway DFW or to DFW Airport in general. DFW Airport is the home of American Airlines, so you're going to see a lot of American aircraft and American Eagle aircraft here. I mean, just look at the lineup here at Terminal B. And Terminal B is exclusively American Airlines. Three of the 5 terminals here deal with nothing but American Airlines and American Eagle aircraft. There you see in the center of your screen, I think that's a Heritage American Eagle livery. Do you see that there in the center with the eagle on its tail? That's the old American Eagle livery. And American has a number of those aircraft that pay tribute to airlines that have preceded it. I think last time we were here, was it last time or last weekend? We saw, I think, 4 or 5 of the Heritage aircraft. So PSA and Reno Air and Air Cal and trying to remember what else. But American even has, like the one you're seeing there, that American Eagle Heritage one. There's a couple of American Airlines Heritage ones. One is an Astrojet, which is pretty cool, with like a 1960s type logo on the tail, and it's all silver, as the way they used to not paint their planes. And the other one is the more recent American livery, which had the AA on the tail, the AA logo. Coming in from San Luis Potosi in Mexico, it's an A319. It's American flight 809. For your viewing pleasure on Runway DFW. I want to thank whoever suggested, I can't remember who it was, suggested that we reboot our hotspot. That seems to have helped. As far as our signal goes, we were having, towards the end of our last hour, we're having some pretty serious issues with our signal. It was just like a series of still photos. Not the kind of thing you want to see when you're watching airplanes taking off and landing. Christophe Cabit just subscribed to Runway DFW. Thank you, Christophe. There you see an American Airlines plane. It's looking like a Dreamliner. And I can't tell if it just pulled out of the American Airlines hangar or if it's pulling in. I didn't see it traverse the runway is, so maybe it's just pulling out. American has a big hangar facility over on this side, which we can see if we look over here. You can see the American logo there behind the UPS planes. And so they kind of pull them in there and wash them up and sanitize them, whatever they do these days, before they are on their next mission. Oh, it was Daniel who made that suggestion. Daniel over in Germany, who has a lot of experience with streaming. And Daniel, don't be shy to promote your website here. I don't have a problem with that. Or your YouTube channel. We're all friends here. And there's Daniel. And thank you. I appreciate it. So he works on the other side of the pond for Vodafone, which is a big cellular carrier over there. And yes, maybe we'll just have to schedule in a break every hour or so if our signal's freezing up, because that seems to have done the trick, at least for now. Fingers crossed. We're up to 3,979 subscribers according to YouTube, so we're just, let me do the math here, we're just 21 away, right? Yeah, 21 away from 4,000 on our channel. We've got Rovad16 has subscribed, thank you. These are ones I didn't see as they went by. Janice Roy has subscribed, Mark Buddington, Ray Poole, Tracy Barrett, and I think those are the ones. And we've gotten a few contributions too from our kind viewers. Michelle R.S. always, oh, that was a couple days ago, sorry. But she did provide us with some funding a couple days ago, so we thank her again, Michelle R.S., one of our regular viewers. Colin Polhill just subscribed, so that makes you number 3,980, I think, if I'm counting right. From Mexico City comes American Flight 1066, 737-800 on Runway DFW. And DFW Airport, if you're listening, I'd be happy to pay you a certain sum a month if you just put in some nice high-speed internet right here at DFW Founders Plaza. Everybody's doing it. I mean, Walmart, and you've got it over there at the terminals, right? Actually, I can actually see the Wi-Fi from the terminals over here, but it's not strong enough to latch onto, and even if it was, I don't know that it would be any better than what I've got. And I think we have a Skylink question. Let's see if I can. There's Skylink right there. Whoops. There it is. Skylink is the little train that goes between terminals. And Alexandra wants to know, I'm obviously very familiar with the airport, how often would you say the Skylink goes between terminals? I'm going to guess at least every 5 minutes, at least, during the busiest hours. And it's bi-directional, so you can take the one that's going more quickly to one of there's 5 terminals here, plus remote parking and the remote car rental. I don't know if that goes to the car rental or not. We had a plane coming in there. I didn't catch where it was coming from. This one's going out to LAX, Los Angeles. So far, I ask people to send money. Sometimes they do. Can you send me, how can I link? To just subscribe to the channel. I cannot very much. So then you can get in on the chat. See what we're saying. Okay, but if I want to Okay, so I was a little bit occupied there. There was a very nice gentleman who came by to say hello and ask some questions about what we're doing and how we do it. And so that's why I was absent for a little bit. There goes another American plane out of the hangar area. And we've got another incoming flight here. This one's coming in from Cancun, Mexico. American Airlines. There it is. American Flight 1750 and Airbus A321. And are we starting to see some jittery video again? Ronald Carpenter, welcome, just subbed. Hi, y'all. And Ronald Carpenter, as we march towards our 4,000th subscriber. We're getting close. We're within 20 last time I checked. And Alexandra is saying, looks like we may need a hotspot reboot in a couple of minutes. If it doesn't clear up on its own. And yeah, I've noticed that. Let us check in with Japan Airlines. Is it Japan Airlines? Yes, Flight 12 coming in from Haneda in Tokyo. It's at 777. And my friends, we may need another hotspot reboot, because I looked at that and it didn't look good. And there's a subscription from Alexandra Monet. Maybe it was delayed, because I think she must be subscribed already to be chatting, but thank you for your subscription, Alexandra. Got a lot of aircraft to the south of us right now. Looks like 3 American planes coming out of the hangar area, along with this Southern Air, which I believe is a cargo carrier. Yeah, it looks like it's headed over to the east side of DFW. It's definitely warming up here. We were in the, I guess, upper 70s when we got here at 5:15 or so, and now it's up to 85 and probably headed up to 100. This looks to be American Flight 2114 on its way to Santa Ana Airport in California. John Wayne, better known as John Wayne Airport, I guess. And Daniel's saying the quality has of our signal has been restored, or at least the internet overlords are smiling upon us. And we're finally getting some takeoffs here, which we normally do in the minutes leading up to 9 o'clock local time. So off to Southern California goes this American flight. That flight was off to airport code FCA. Do I know what that is? Kalispell, Montana. Or is that Idaho? I think it's Montana. This here A321 is on its way to Omaha, Nebraska. That's off, and we've got an incoming flight from Denver. All of a sudden, it's getting very busy here. Just in time for our signal to start acting up again, huh? And Daniel is suggesting that maybe our hotspot needs some better sun protection, which could also cause issues. It's not very hot here right now, at least not by Texas standards. 87 right here where we are. But I do have something to cover this up, so maybe I will go to the car and get that. So we may have a little dance party again here, if you can bear with us on Runway DFW. So yeah, what I'm going to do is go to the car and get something to cover up our camera. Or not our camera, but our hotspot and our other gear here. And we will be right back on Runway DFW. Thanks for your patience. was abrupt. I was supposed to fade out. Well, anyway, here's what I've done. I don't know if it'll help, but here is our, I don't know how much we can see this. I feel like a magician here. But here's our streaming table. That's the hotspot there on the left, our computer on the right, and at the bottom there by the water is our switcher. They are kind of out in the sun. So what I've got here is a, it's meant to be room darkening, a room darkening shade. Oh, you're not seeing it, are you? I don't have it punched up. Or do I? Is my switcher starting to go now? My switcher is not switching. Okay, that's a development. Well, hang on, folks. I got to reboot my switcher, which itself is getting a little warm. I haven't been out here this late in the day. Well, have I? Well, I have, kind of. But what you're seeing now is, well, there's our default blurry picture of DFW. Let me let our switcher reboot here and see if it'll come back to us. If not, we'll have to move away from our 2-camera setup, so hang on. And I'm getting an alert from Mrs. Runway DFW that we're having some issues. Okay, so that's what I was trying to show you. There's our camera 2. Here's our setup here. So we've got a computer, our hotspot here, water for me. I'll move that out of the way. Our switcher, which seems to have just overheated. And so now I've got this room darkening shade, which I got at the old Walmart. So I'm going to try to shade all this. I have some umbrellas in the car, but they don't seem to work very well here when it gets windy. So there, I've covered it up. We'll see if that works. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but we'll give it a go. And have we lost our signal entirely now? Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Hello. We had a child who was interested in our camera. But I am seeing a not very stable picture again. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into standby mode again after 45 minutes. I'm going to reconnect our hotspot and see if that helps. And hopefully it will. If it doesn't, we may try a different hotspot. What do you think? So we're going to put on some music. The music will go away. We'll go away for probably about 3 or 4 minutes. Our signal will still be on. We'll still have our feed going out. But you will see a still picture with our standby logo. And I hope you'll bear with us. It should just be a few minutes, and we'll be back to the action in just a few here for you on Runway DFW. We appreciate very much your patience with us. We'll be back in about 3-4 minutes, so hang on. My connection is excellent, says my hotspot, but time will tell as we proceed here, as we do some experimentation for you on Runway DFW. I know that I've talked to Brad Ward, who is the big kahuna over at Airline Videos Live. He's their executive producer, and he's told me that Kevin, who is the host of Airline Videos Live, is often has to ice down his equipment to keep it cool. So I don't have that technology quite yet here, but we'll see if this will work. Anyway, we're back, I think. It's 8:49 and Central Time. It's getting warm, approaching the 90-degree mark. But we'll hang out as long as we can for you, and hopefully we won't miss too much. It's going to be hard for me to access my keyboard. I'm still kind of working on how this is setting up here. I found, let me see if I can. Twirl around, I'll show you. I had a little kind of green plastic table which I've been able to use to prop up over the equipment, which makes a nice shade, but it's not tall enough. I've got to raise up that green plastic table a bit to be able to see my computer screen and keyboard. But we'll do what we can here. And to make things even more confusing for me, I've flipped my inputs on my switcher because we had an issue there. So I'll get rid of the music in a second. There's an American Eagle flight, as if you couldn't tell. All right, music be gone. Thank you. Okay, lots of activity. I'm looking at our feed and it's still looking a little jerky. So now the question is, do I go to hotspot number 2? The one I have now I like the best because it's got a direct Ethernet connection to the computer, so that takes Wi-Fi out of the equation. And my other hotspot is Wi-Fi only. Welcome to Tech Talk here on Runway DFW. I hope this doesn't dissuade you from following us and liking us and subscribing to us as we march towards our 4,000th subscriber. And I have to say that our subscribers are very patient folks. We are trying to bring you a quality feed here. We've got lots of good gear. But sometimes our connection to the outside world is just a bit problematic. So I'm about to break out our alternate our alternative hotspot, hotspot 2. So hang on again. We can stay on the air while while I'm setting that up. Maybe it will be a relatively benign switchover. Hotspot number 2 powered up. So bear with us. You're watching Runway DFW, your live source for airport activity. Hotspot's still booting up. I don't think I've used 2 at the same time. I think that would confuse my computer. But if I did have 2, see if I could combine those 2 signals, then maybe they would. I know there are devices, high-end communication devices, which TV stations typically have, which can bond multiple devices to your multiple hotspots at the same time. Okay, so 5G. Turning on Wi-Fi. Switching over to that. Unplugging the Ethernet. I think we lost you for a moment, but we appear to be back. And so now we'll see how this works. So hang out with us for a while here on Runway DFW and we'll see what we got. Let me check our stream speed here. I appreciate your patience, folks. And we have a fairly poor download speed. But our upload speed's pretty good. Well, yeah, kind of. Maybe not so much. Okay, folks, so we'll plow ahead and we'll see how it goes, and if it doesn't get any better, we'll just sign off and try again another day. How's that? But I would like to continue broadcasting here for at least a little while. Daniel is saying brilliantly fluid right now. Mike Lee wants to know what app program to use to live stream and add in your icon and time. Well, it's kind of a combination of things. I use OBS, which is a free software, to bring in the camera to my computer, and then in OBS I use that to add the clock to our stream, and then I use something called Melon app, and you can find the link in our description, to actually send the signal out to the internet, and that's where we put on the graphics using the Melon app, which just is a you run your browser and it lives in there. So as long as you got a browser, you can broadcast. So it's pretty handy. My only concern is that is our internet connection. Really, we've got a lot of good, hardware going here, but our connection doesn't hold up very well sometimes. So we'll go for another couple minutes. We'll see what happens. I haven't checked the radar. We've got a plane coming in from Columbus. I'm assuming that's Ohio, but it could be another Columbus. That, of course, is American Eagle. It's a Mitsubishi CRJ 701ER. And I didn't catch what that was. It's going out to Lubbock. Got a couple planes ready to poise for takeoff on runway 18 left. Looks like American Eagle 4952. They're on the left to McAllen, Texas. And the one on the right, no, that one's not McAllen, Texas. One on the left is American Eagle 3786 going to Grand Junction, Colorado. And we should have, where is it? Here's the American Eagle Heritage livery we were talking about before. That's the one that's going to Grand Junction, Colorado. American Eagle Retro livery, which kind of mimics the last incarnation, the previous incarnation of American Airlines livery, except instead of the eagle on the tail, the American Airlines version of that had the red and blue AA logo on there. I don't think I've seen this one before. We saw this one parked over at Terminal B earlier. I do like that look, though. I'm not really a fan of the current American Airlines tail art. It's kind of too abstract for me. I got some bad news this week. I was hoping to eventually see the Japanese airline Zip Air come to Dallas-Fort Worth. It's kind of a low low-cost airline, you know, a budget carrier, which flies into several West Coast destinations. I think it goes to Hawaii and LA and maybe San Francisco. But the cool thing about it to me was that it had a big Z on its tail for Zip Air. It's just kind of a serifed Z, very simple, very cool looking, I thought. But they have decided to, the company has decided to move away from that because, as you may have heard in the Ukraine war, that has some meaning for Russian tanks, I think. I can't remember exactly what it is, but out of support for Ukraine, Zip Air has decided to remove the Z from its tail and instead have some kind of an abstract design. So I don't think I'll get to see a Zip Air flight. Well, I am looking at our signal, ladies and gentlemen, and I am not seeing too much improvement in it, unfortunately. Now, it could have something to do with our equipment being warm. It could have something to do with the number of passengers in the terminals who are scooping up the bandwidth. But I think we've about reached our limit here, unfortunately. Because we've tried our two means of connecting, and neither one is playing ball with us, as they say here in the States. So regrettably, I think I'm going to have to sign off because I don't want to subject you guys to this cavalcade of still pictures. I was very careful to place myself in the exact spot where I was on Thursday morning during these same hours when I had a broadcast which was uninterrupted for the most part by internet glitchiness. But unfortunately that was not to be the case this morning, so I very much appreciate your patience. Daniel, you've been a very big help. And I think we're just going to have to pack it in for the day, and we'll be back. I'm not giving up on this. Our internet provider, T-Mobile, has assured me that they are working on the towers in this area, and that they will be back, or there will be improvements made. So, that's it for us, I guess. I don't even know I'm not sure where that came from. I didn't start that. I think my computers are doing things all by themselves now.
Live from Austin Bergs from International Airport in
And
Austin,
I don't even know where
Texas.
that's coming from.
This is
Hang
a
on.
special edition of Runway DFW. Income.
That was our open from Austin, which just kind of self-started. So things are going very weird here. And I'm going to have to sign off. So, thank you very much all. Let me see if I can get my computer to work. And my mouse is not working now. when your mouse stops working, that's not very helpful. I think we've lost our signal. Yes, our signal has gone to nothingness now, so if you can still hear us, which I'm not sure you can, we're just going to have to say goodbye. Well, if you can hear it, that is our music that signs us off. Thank you very much for being patient with us. We'll be back again in a few days, and we'll try this again, and we're not going to give up because we want to bring you all the action from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. My name is Walt. It's been my pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined us today, all the new subscribers, all our familiar faces. It's been very nice to have you all with us, and we'll see you again soon on Runway DFW, where we always say happy contrails to you until we meet again. Bye, everybody.